The
different. They got Canto 3 3.13 verses 18 to 34.
There's
Yeah.
a different verses on the screen, Mataji. We got the different one.
It should be verse 40, 41, 42, 43.
should be text
Oh.
18.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah.
Canto 3 and then chapter 13, yeah?
Yes,
And then verses 18 to 34.
that's right.
Okay.
Oh, I think
Why does it look different? Have we got the wrong?
yeah, we have. I think we got the wrong. Oh,
Can you see the verses on the screen,
Chapter
Prabhu?
3 it is.
Oh, chapter. Sorry.
Yes, Mataji. That's
One second. I'll sort it. Sorry.
I've got it on the screen.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Hare Krishna Mataji. Iti abdhiyato nasa vivarat sahasanga varahato ko niragat anugushta pari mankaha.
Oh, Sindas Vindura, all of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a ball came out of his nostril. The measurement of this creature was not more than the upper portion of a thumb.
तस्येष्यत् कसता क्षेणन् किल भारता गजमात्रा गजमात्रा प्रवृद्धै तदद् अद्भुतम् अभुम महत्.
O descendants of Bharata, while Brahma was observing him, the ball became situated in the in the sky in a wonderful manifestation as gigantic as a great elephant.
Marichi paramukhair vipriha kumarair manuna saha drishtva tat sokaram rupam tarkayam asa chitradha.
Struck with wonder at observing the wonderful ball-like form in the sky, Brahma, with great Brahmanas like Marishi, as well as the Kumaras and Manu, began to argue in various ways.
Kim etat sukra vyajam satvam divyam avasthitam aho batascharyam idam nasaya me vinisritam.
Is this some extraordinary entity come into the pretense of a ball? It is very wonderful that he has come from my nose.
Drishto anugushtha shiro matraha kshanad ganda shila sama api swid bhagwan esha yajno me khedya mana.
First of all, this ball was seen no bigger than the lip, the tip of a thumb. Within a moment, he was as large as a stone. My mind is perturbed. Is he the Supreme Personality of God, Vishnu?
Iti mimam sattasya se brahman sah sunubhi bhagwan yag purusho jagendra sanibhya.
While Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, roared tumultuously like a great mountain.
Brahmanam harsyamas asa harishtamascha dvijotmam swa garjitena kakubha pratiswanayata vibhu.
The omnipotent Supreme Personality Godhead, 11 Brahma, and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions.
Nishamyate Ghritam Swakheda Ksheshnu Mayamyasukrase Janastapa Satya Nivasinsnate Tribhi Pavitriyar Munir O Granam Sama.
When the great sages and thinkers who are the residents of Janaloka and Tapik and Satya heard the tumultuous voice of Lord Bor, which was all auspicious sound of all merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious chants from the three Vedas.
Tesham Satam Veda Vitana Muratir Brahma Vadhyaratma Guna Anuvadamam Vinadya Bhuyo Vibhudho Deyam Gajendra Lilo Jalam Abhishesha.
Playing like an elephant, he entered into the water after roaring again. In reply to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees, the Lord is the object of the Vedic prayers, and thus he understood that the devotees' prayers were meant for him.
Utikshipta Vala Khachachra Kathoram Sata Vindhuvan Khararo Kararumashatvak Kurar Atabra Sita Damashtra Iksha Jyotir Bhavase Bhagwan Mahidra.
Before entering the water to rescue the earth, Lord Bor flew in the sky, slashing his tail. His hard hairs quivering. His ray glance was luminous, and he scatters the clouds in the sky with his hues. And his glittering white tusks.
Pranena Prithva Padvi Vidhi Ghna Krona Padesha Swayam Advarakha Karala Damashro Api Akrala Drigbhyam Udvikshya Vipran Granato Avishtakam.
He was personally the Supreme Lord Vishnu and was therefore transcendental. Yet because he had the body of a hog, he searched after the earth by smell. His tusks were fearful, and he glanced over the devoted Brahmanas, engaged in offering prayers, as he entered the water.
Savraja Kutanga Nipatavega Vishrina Kukshi Satyanam Udavan Utstrishta Dirghormi Bhujet Ivartas Chukrosha Jageshwar Pahimeti.
Diving into the water like a giant mountain, Lord Bor divided the middle of the ocean, and the two high waves appeared as the arms of the ocean. It cried loudly as if praying to the Lord. O Lord, all sacrifice, please do not cut me into two. Kindly give me protection.
Kuray Kshur Prayer Daramyas Tad Apa उत्परा परम त्रिप्रु रास्यम दद्राशागम तत्र सुश्रुप्र अग्रे राजीवधानिम स्वयं स्वयं अभि स्वयं अभिदता.
Lord Boar penetrated the water with his hooves, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean. Although it was unlimited, he saw the earth, the resting place for all human beings, lying as it was in the beginning of creation, and he personally lifted it.
Swadam damstrit स्वदृष्ट्योद्धृते महीनिमग्रं स उत्थितं सरुच्रचे रसाया तत्रापि दैत्यं गद्यापततं सुनाभा सन्दीपिता तिवारा मनुहा.
Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks and got it out of the water. Then it appeared very splendid. Then his anger, growing like the Sudarshan's wheel, he immediately killed the demon Hiranashaka. Although he tried to fight with the Lord.
Jagan rundham asahya vikramam सलीलभयं मृग्रात् इवाम्भसि तद् रक्तापन्किता गन्धतुन्दो यथा गजेन्द्रो जक्तिं विभिन्दनम्.
Thereupon, Lord Bull killed the demon within the water, just like a lion kills an elephant. The cheeks and tongue of the Lord became smeared with the blood of the demon, just as an elephant becomes reddish from digging in the purple earth.
तमाल नीलम सिद्धांत कोटिया क्षमा उत्क्षिपंतम गजा लिल्यंगा प्राज्ञा बधान जलियो अनुवाके विरिंचि मुख्या उपतस्थु ऋषम.
Then the Lord, playing like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusks. He assumed a bluish complexion like that of a tomato tree, and thus the sages headed by Brahma could understand him to be the supreme person of the order and offer respectful obeisance to him.
ऋष्य उचु जेतम ते चिता यग भावना त्रियम तनुम स्वाम परिधनुवते नमो यद्रो मग्रेषु नील्यल अध्यास तत्समे नम कारण सुकार्य ते.
All the sages uttered with great respect, "O unconquerable enjoyer of all sacrifices, all glories and all victories unto you. You are moving in your form of the personified Vedas, and in the hair holes of your body, the oceans are submerged. For certain reasons, you have assumed the form of bull."
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for the very nice recitations. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Govinda, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shall I make you the co-host now, Prabhuji?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll share my screen as well. Just get myself organized. Okay. Just wanted to check, can you see that screen? 1041?
Yes, yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Please say some humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and thank you very much to Shri Prabhu and Mataji for the recitation from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 30. Thank you very much.
But there's the what we're seeing on the screen is something different. Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. 3:13:40, yeah?
That's right. And the verses for discussion are 23 to 26.
All right. Is it? Okay, I think I've got the wrong one then. Okay, I've actually made notes for 40 to 43. It's 23 to 26, is it?
That's
Okay.
right, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'll have to just try my best, and thank you for that, Sriji Kishore Mataji. 23 to 26, yeah?
26, yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Okay. Do apologize. I did actually make notes for verses 40, 41, 42, 43. It looks like that's probably for next week's verse, but I'll certainly, with the pleasure, with the mercy of the Supreme Lord and Guru Gauranga and all the devotees, I'll do my best to make a Srimad Bhagavatam presentation for these particular verses. So I'll start off. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, verse 23. Canto 3 is the status quo. Chapter 13 is the praise of Lord Varahadev. Ki Jai. Verse 23. Iti mimam shatastasya brahmana sahasanobi bhagavan yagya purusho jagar jagendra sanivaha. Translation: while Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu roared tumultuously like a great mountain. Purport: it appears that great hills and mountains also have their roaring power because they also live in entities. The volume of the sound vibrated is proportional to the size of the material body. While Brahma was guessing about the appearance of Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. So I'll recite the introduction prayers. Om Jnana Timranasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shivashaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kakanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Pashabana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'd like to offer my obeisances to my special master, Srila Bhakti Swami, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Swami Tinamane, and to ISKCON founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane, Namaste Saraswati Devam Gaurvani Pachayane, Nivashesa Sanyavadi Paschatya Satayane. Kindly pray to their Lord, the mercy of the Spiritual Master, and to the mercy of the Vaishnavas listening, that I could speak on the wonderful glories and pastimes of Lord Varahadev from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13. And also, I'm not sure if Namrata Mataji is on the call. It's actually her birthday today.
She's not with us today. She's with the family today.
Oh, is she? Okay. Maybe later on, Shiji Kishore Mataji, just before the song, you could say a few words about Namrata Mataji, if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. So just a little background on this particular chapter 13. So there's a dialogue that's going on originally between Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. As you know, Parikshit Maharaj has only 7 days to live. And then he actually sees Sukadev Goswami and he asks about the importance about the purpose of life and the importance about describing the topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is, the Srimad Bhagavatam is quite complex in a certain way because it's a dialogue within a dialogue within a dialogue. So during that time when Sukadev Goswami was narrating the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, a great sage of the name Sutta Goswami was there as well. And many other sages who weren't able to attend to that particular discussion between Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, they asked Sutta Goswami, please narrate these wonderful topics, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as dictated by Sukadev Goswami. So there's a second dialogue between Sutta Goswami and the many sages in Namasharanya forest. And when Sutta Goswami is narrating the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's also additional dialogues. And in this case, there's a dialogue between Vidura, who is one of the original the fathers of the Kuru dynasties, along with Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura, the three brothers who are actually the original Pandava, not the Kuru, the Pandava sort of dynasty. So Vidura is actually speaking to sage Maitreya by the banks of the river Ganges, and he's inquiring from Maitreya about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And sage Maitreya is very, very pleased with the questions asked by Vidura because he can see Vidura as a very dear devotee. In fact, Vidura is a partial expansion of Dhammaraj, who is the manifestation of Sanatana Dham, the demigod of Sanatana Dham. So when Vidura is asking the Maitreya Muni about the Supreme Personality of God, the topics about his different incarnations, at the same time, Maitreya Muni is very pleased with Vidura. Vidura is actually very, very fortunate because he had Lord Krishna place his lotus feet on the laps of Vidura, and that's not an ordinary thing that could happen at all. You know, only the great personalities like the gopis or the cowboys would have that privilege. So you can see that Vidura wasn't an ordinary person at all. And he was so admired by the enthusiastic description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he wanted to ask more and more from Sage Maitreya Muni. So then Sage Maitreya Muni describes about the beautiful characteristics of the Supreme Lord, his Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila form, which are his name, form, qualities, and pastimes. And then this particular chapter 13 describes the beautiful narration of Lord Varahadev and how he saves Mother Earth from the seabed of the ocean, of the Gaba Ocean, which has been placed there by the demonic king Hiranyayaksha, who is the brother of Hiranyakashipu. So is there anybody who doesn't know this beautiful story of Lord Varahadev? Okay, I'm glad everybody knows. So it's a very beautiful pastime. So in this particular verse, while Lord Brahma is actually speaking with his son, Manu, Swayambhuva Manu is not an ordinary person either, although he's the son of Brahma, the firstborn son of Brahma. He's in charge of the progeny of the creation within the universe, which Lord Brahma has created. So Swayambhuva Manu is very, very perturbed. He says to Lord Brahma, you know, what is happening to Mother Earth? Do you want me to actually what instructions do you want me to do? And Lord Brahma is telling Swambhuva Manu, I want you to create a progeny within the earth along with your wife. But because of the situation, while Lord Brahma was contemplating and meditating on the creation, during that time, the earth was submerged in the Garbha ocean. But because of the inundated, it was by deluge and gone into the depths of the ocean. Let me pray to the Supreme Lord what is the best solution of trying to recover or retrieve Mother Earth from the ocean bed. So while he was contemplating, while he was meditating on the Supreme Lord, then out comes from his nostril a tiny animal and in the form of a boar. As the boar appeared within a few moments, it grew so big like a mighty elephant itself, and it came in the form of a boar with tusks, tail, four sort of legs with hoofs as well. And Lord Brahma and Swambhuva Manu and all the personalities like the four Kumaras, they were wondering, what is this personality? It's like an animal figure, but it looks so beautiful. But this tusk seems so dangerous, but at the same time, they look so beautiful, like a lotus flower. And while they were contemplating, then they recognized that this was no other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And while they were meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they were reciting beautiful prayers for the pleasure of the Lord, because the Lord is the recipient of these beautiful prayers by his devotees. He immediately became very pleased. And when he became pleased, he gave out a mighty roar which shook the whole world. And as he shook, he played around in the water for a short while, and then his duty was to save the Mother Earth from the bottom of the pit of the seabed itself. So as he dived down to the bottom of the ocean, then of course he retrieved the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth is also Mother Bhumi. Mother Bhumi is also considered to be the wife of Lord Varahadev. She also, the Ramayana also explains that Sita Devi, the wife of Lord Ramachandra, is also considered to be Mother Bhumi as well. And in another pastime, it also mentions that Mother Earth or Mother Bhumi also expands herself as Satyabhama, who is the queen of Lord Krishna, and she came specifically to assist Lord Krishna in killing the demon Narakasura. So while Lord Brahma was contemplating, was guessing about the praise of the Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. Text 24. Brahmana Mashaya Masha Harishtamscha Dvijotamam Swagar Chitena Ka Kubaha Patisvanayata Vibhu. Translation: the omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with this uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Brahma and the other enlightened Brahmanas who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead are enlivened by the appearance of the Lord in any of his multi-incarnations. The appearance of the wonderful and gigantic incarnation of Vishnu as a mountain-like boar did not fill them with any kind of fear. Although the Lord's resounding voice was tumultuous and echoed horribly in all directions as an open threat to all demons who might challenge his omnipotency. So this purport is also reminds me of the verse from the first chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna is blowing his conch shell, the Panchajanya. And when he blows that conch shell, it actually resonates in the hearts of the enemies who become very afraid, because when blowing the conch, it's also purifying the atmosphere, removes all obstacles, removes all calamities, brings about auspiciousness. That's why when they perform the arati, they blow the conch shell 3 times before and after the arati. The reason behind that is, of course, to let everyone know we're actually in the process of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also by purifying or by blowing the conch shell, it's also blowing away all inauspiciousness around. Of course, wherever there's Krishna, there's never any inauspiciousness. But because the Vedas actually describe certain functions of a particular element or symbol that's used in the worship of Krishna, then the blessings of by blowing the conch shell also removes unwanted thoughts or desires within one's heart. Just going back earlier on, I forgot to mention the Supreme Lord came in the form of a boar. When you think of a boar, it's considered to be not very sightly at all, considered to be always portrayed in a mud or some stool or something like that. But here in this case, the boar, Lord Varaha, is so beautiful, his lotus eyes, even though his tusks look very terrible, but they're also very beautiful and it's compared to a lotus flower. The earth is also compared to a lotus flower as well, because the earth has all the facilities that one needs in the human form of life, provides all the necessities, the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. So the Lord's duty is to protect the earth as well for the savor of the human population. When you look at the Bhagavad Gita, there's many beautiful verses that describes about the different characters on the earth planet, which is actually represents a quality of the Supreme Lord. Before I go into that, I also wanted to ask, does any other devotee on this call know any other personalities or incarnations the Lord appeared in the form of an animal at all? Which other incarnations can you think of that the Lord appeared as an animal?
Narsimha Prabhu.
Yes, very good.
Hare Krishna
Nrsimhadev, half man,
is
half lion. Yes,
is
Indulekha Mataji.
the fish incarnation and the
That's good.
turtle incarnation.
Yes, that's right. The fish incarnation, which is Matsya, he came to protect the Vedas and the
Kurma.
devotees in the boat. And Kurma.
Hansa.
Yes, Haigriva. I never thought of Haigriva. Yes, the horse. He protected the Vedas as well. And Kurma, as somebody mentioned, came in the form of a tortoise. Now, when you think about it, you may wonder, well, why does the Lord come in the different forms of an animal? But it's also showing how the Lord is so merciful that he wants us to show kindness and affection towards all living creatures, whether it's a bird, an animal, a reptile, some sort of ferocious animal. They all represent in some way or another as an expansion of the Lord. In this case, when he appears as the boar, you may think, well, the boar, as I mentioned earlier on, doesn't look very, very pleasing when you see it, or a pig. But here, the Lord is so beautiful. And when he explains how the Lord was fighting with Hiranyaksha, even though he's fighting with Hiranyaksha, still there was blood that was coming from his mouth. But that blood looked so sweet and pleasing that it wasn't that the Lord was hurt in any way at all, because he destroyed Hiranyaksha in the form of the Sudarshan Chakra. But the Lord is actually pleasing in any form he appears. To the devotees, he's the protector of the devotees. To the demons, he's like an enemy. But when you actually surrender to the Lord and you see him in this different form, in the form of a boar, in the form of a fish, in the form of the tortoise, Skurma, and also the most pleasing form that we all recognize as half man, half lion, Lord Nrsimhadev. Has anybody been to Ahobilam or the temples of Lord Nrsimhadev in South India?
I've been.
Yeah, Bharti Ben, yes. Anybody else? If you haven't been, I certainly would recommend all the devotees to take darshan of the beautiful 9 temples of Lord Nrsimhadev in Ahobilam. It's such a beautiful place. It'll take you about a couple of days to visit all the different places. It's not easy to get to some of these places, Certainly, Ahobilam, you need a bit of, some sort of resilience and ability to climb up to the top of the mountains, especially if you're going on a very hot day. Make sure you're hydrated well, you're taking care of yourself, because the afternoon or the morning sun is very, very hot, and it could actually cause a lot of fatigue and tiredness to a lot of people who've climbed in right to the top. There's the other beautiful temples of Aharaha, Nashinga Dave there as well. But certainly, these are sort of forms of places of purification for our journey, go to the holy places, just like you mentioned about the importance about visiting the holy places, Mathura Dham, reciting the Bhagavatam, Vaishnava Sangha, and so forth. These are the 5 important aspects of one's life, one's duty, and spiritual activities. Okay, text 25. Nishamya te ka karitam svakeda Shayishnu mayamya shakarasya janastapa satya navashinaste tribihi pavitre munayo masma vinasma. Translation. When the great sages and thinkers who are residents of Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka heard the tumultuous voice of Lord Bo, which was the all-auspicious sound of the all-merciful Lord, that chanted auspicious chants from the 3 Vedas. Purport. The word Maya Maya is very significant in this verse. Maya means mercy, specific knowledge, and also illusion. Therefore, Lord Bor is everything, is merciful, is all knowledge, and he is illusion also. The sound which he vibrated as the Bo incarnation was answered by the Vedic hymns of the great sages, the planets, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. The highest intellectual or pious living entities live in those planets. And when they heard the extraordinary voice of the Bo, they could understand that the specific sound was vibrated by the Lord and no one else. Therefore, they replied by praying to the Lord with Vedic hymns. The earth planet was submerged in the Maya, but on hearing the sound of the Lord, the inhabitants of the higher planets were all jubilant because they knew that the Lord was there to deliver the earth. Therefore, Brahma and all the sages, such as Bhrigu, Brahma's other sons, and learned Brahmanas, were enlivened, and they concertedly joined in praising the Lord with the transcendental vibrations of the Vedic hymns. The most important is the Brihad Naradiya Purana verse Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So once again, this is such a beautiful verse. This is verse 25. And it actually mentions about the great roar by the Supreme Lord Varahadev when he actually roars loudly, that is sort of brings about harmony, brings about peace, brings about peacefulness within the residents of the higher planetary systems. Now, when he actually mentions down here, the highest intellectual and pious living entities live in those planets, which is those mentioned here, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, then you may consider, well, why are they concerned about the Earth going into the bottom of the ocean because they're living on a higher planet? The earthly planets are considered to be in the middle of the planetary systems. You've got the higher planetary systems, you've got the middle planetary systems, which consist of the earthly planets, the lower planetary systems, which are the hellish planets. Now, why would they be concerned about the Earth going down to the bottom of the ocean? Because they know the Earth is representation of Mother Bhumi, who's actually considered to be the wife of none other than Varahadev. So it is their duty, their responsibility to ensure that whatever happens to, say, the middle planetary system, they have that responsibility to ensure the safety of the residents or the inhabitants of that particular planet and the personality of that particular person, that particular planet, in this case, Mother Bhumi. So it's not out of ignorance, not out of selfishness that they're superior or that they feel themselves or the lower planets to be inferior. But when they see the Lord, because they are highest intellectuals and pious living entities, have been placed in that particular position, they recognize that the Supreme Lord, when he roars loudly, it obviously reverberates within their heart, and they actually recognize that this is no ordinary personality, this is the Supreme Lord himself. What is the purpose of their highest intellectual level? It's because they've been studying the Vedas, the Shastras, they have supreme authorities who have been guiding them in that position, just like when we pray to the Supreme Lord, we go to the higher planets. But when we pray to, say, for material opulence, we go to the earthly planets. But when we pray to the demons, we go downwards to the hellish planets. So those who are praying for or rather pray to the Supreme Lord, they develop their sort of level, going to the higher planetary systems, eventually to Vaikuntha, the abode where we don't return at all. So it's important to understand that these aren't ordinary citizens. They're actually higher intellectual personalities, and they're there to support the Supreme Lord. It's like, this is like obviously ambiguous sort of analogy when you sort of go into a football match and you have a particular team and you support them, you cheer when they actually win a goal. So here the personalities who are dedicated to serving the Supreme Lord, who are devotees of the Lord, they have no other ambition except serving the Supreme Lord. Now, when you look at the Mother Earth, it's very important to understand that it's not just an ordinary, how do you call it, just an ordinary planet. Then one of the verses I wanted to share with you. In this particular verse from chapter 10, verse 41, Yadya vibhuti matsatvam shima jurjitami vava tata deva vagachatvam mama tejos sha sambhavam. Translation: know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creation spring from but a spark of my splendor. So it's also the Lord's duty that he has created all this magnificent planet. It's because he's also responsible for taking care of them by the prayers of the devotees, by the prayers of the demigods, by the prayers and of the well-wishers. He wants to serve his devotees in whatever capacity he can. Of course, by the blink of an eye, he can bring and retrieve the Earth planet from the bottom of the seabed back into orbit. But he wants to portray his transcendental pastimes, wants to show and come into a different form, like in the form of a bull. And with this task, he was able to go to the bottom of the seabed, lift up Mother Earth, and bring her back to the top of the ocean, and place her back into orbit. And actually mentions within the Bhagavad Gita as well that the Supreme Lord enters into each planet and by his energy they stay in orbit. Otherwise, how is it possible that the planets are able to rotate around the sun without falling down? How was it possible that Hiranyaksha was able to take this planet away from its orbit and sink it down to the bottom of the seabed? It just shows you how powerful he must have been, because certain things, when you throw up a certain object, it may float or it may just sink to the bottom, like a piece of metal may sink right to the bottom of the water. But something like wood, which has a very good buoyancy, when you throw it, it just obviously just floats on the water, whereas Earth is solid and it may just sink right to the bottom of the ocean. The Lord, by his magnanimous mercy, he takes the Earth and brings it back into orbit, just like all the other planets are into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. The other important thing I was going to mention, but I'll have to leave this for the next week because it's specifically for those verses. Otherwise, I won't know what to say for those verses if I am reciting those verses. I believe there's only one more verse left. Let me just double check. Yes, verse 26. Tesham satam veda vitana murti brahma varjatma gunavadam Vindhya Bhuya Vibhudo Dayaya Gajendra Lilo Jalama Avivesha. Translation: Playing like an elephant, he entered into the water after roaring again in reply to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees. The Lord is the object of the Vedic prayers. Thus he understood that the devotees' prayers were meant for him. Purport: the form of the Lord in any shape is always transcendental and full of knowledge and mercy. The Lord is the destroyer of all material contamination because his form is personified Vedic knowledge. All the Vedas worship the transcendental form of the Lord. In the Vedic mantras, the devotees request the Lord to remove the glaring effulgence that covers his real face. That is the version of this Upanishad. The Lord has no material form, but his form is always understood in terms of the Vedas. The Vedas are said to be the breath of the Lord, and the breath was inhaled by Brahma, the original student of the Vedas. The breathing from the nostril of Brahma caused the appearance of Lord Bull. Therefore, the boy incarnation of the Lord is the personified Vedas. The glorification of the incarnation by the sages on the higher planets consisted of factual Vedic hymns. Whenever there is a glorification of the Lord, it is to be understood that the Vedic mantras are being rightly vibrated. The Lord was therefore pleased when such a Vedic mantras were chanted, and to encourage his pure devotees, he roared once more and entered the water to rescue the submerged earth. So this is quite an interesting purport because I also learned something new. I was also wondering why the Lord Varaha, came from the nostril of Lord Brahma, because it's not considered to be a very clean place for most of us. But here it actually explains his form is personified Vedic knowledge. All the Vedas worship the transcendental form of the Lord. The Vedic mantras, the devotees request the Lord to remove the glaring effulgence because it covers the real face. The Vedas are said to be the breath of the Lord. So in other words, when the Lord breathes, the Vedas emanates from his lotus mouth. And that breath was inhaled by Brahma. So while he was breathing out the Vedas by the Supreme Lord, the breath was captured by Lord Brahma, who inhaled these Vedic mantras, the beautiful recitations, the beautiful meaning of the Vedas. He's the original student of the Vedas, and you can see him with his 4 hands. Normally holds some japa mala in one hand. He holds some books in another hand, which are considered the Vedas. He holds a lotus flower in one hand. Then he also carries a lotta in one hand of the forearms of Lord Brahma. So in one hand, when he's holding the Vedas, he's considered to be the original student of the Vedas. So when he was breathing, inhaling this particular Vedas from the Lord, the Supreme Lord, as he was breathing out from the nostril, caused the appearance of Lord Varahadev to appear. Of course, when he came out, he was very tiny, very small. Then when a small fragment of a moment, he expanded rapidly to become like a mighty elephant. Then he roared loudly. And then when the denizens of the heavenly planets, the Lord Brahma, the 4 Kumaras, they were wondering, who is this beautiful manifestation? And as I realized that was the Supreme Lord, and when they recited these prayers, the Lord became even more pleased, and they gave out even a bigger, mighty roar, which penetrated the hearts of all living entities, both the pious and the impious. And at the same time, while he played around in the ocean of the Gaba, then he went down to the bottom of the ocean, and then with his task, he rescued the submerged earth. So that answers, or that's the recitation of the 4 verses today. Is there any questions or comments, or shall I pass it on to Shriji Kishore Mataji for the next bhajan? Okay, Shriji Kishore Mataji, do you have somebody who's singing the bhajans? If you want to share the page as well.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the very nice class. Really nice class. Thank you once again. But before we have the bhajan, Prabhuji, may I say that today is Namrata Mataji's birthday. So just to let you know that Namrata Mataji organizes the bhajans for Chad every Sunday, and she also performs various other devotional services. So on behalf of Chad and everyone, let's wish Namrata Mataji a very happy birthday by chanting or saying 3 loud Hari Bols. If you all would like to unmute your mics, please, we'll say 3 loud Hari Bols.
Hari
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari Bol,
Mataji from the
Haribo,
facilities.
Haribo.
Hari Bol. So, dear Namrata Mataji, wishing you a very happy Krishna conscious birthday. May Radha Gokulananda bless you with good health and happiness. Stay blessed, Mataji, and thank you for all your wonderful seva. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, dear devotees, we're going to have our very nice bhajan now. And our singers are Indira Mataji and Sri Lalita Suse Devani Mataji. So, I'm just going to share the verses on the screen. Are you ready, Matajis, whilst I'm getting the verses ready?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm ready.
Can you see the verses on the screen, Mataji?
No, we've still got the Bhagavatam text 26 on the screen at the moment.
Oh, I see. Just bear with me. I think Prabhuji has to stop sharing. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing now.
Oh, okay. Okay, can you see the verses now, Mataji?
Yes, I can.
When you're ready, you can start, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaya. Narsimha Kavacham Vakshaya Praladinotam Pura Sarvaraksha-karam Punyam Sarvapradavanasanam Sarvasampatakaram Chaiva Sarvamoksha-pradayakam Tatva Narsimha Devesam Himasimasan Nasitam विवुत्रसेनं त्रेणैनं सार्गाइन्दुसमाप्रभं लक्ष्मीरालिङ्गिता वामाघं विभूतिभिरुपार्थितं चतुर्भुजं कोमालङ्गं सर्वाकुण्डलशोभितं सरोजशोभितो रक्षाकं रत्नाकेरुमुन्द्रितं तप्तकाञ्चन सङ्काशं पिता निर्मलवासासम् इन्द्रियाय सूर्यमौलिष्ठा स्फुरन्मणिक्या दीप्तभिः विराजिता पादाद्वान्तं शङ्खाचक्रतहितभिः गरुड्माता च विनाय स्तूयमानं मुदितम् सर्वरितकमलां संवासं कृत्वा तु कवचं पठे नरसिंहो शिरसा पातु लोका रक्षात् सम्भव सर्वगोपी संवासा फलं मे रक्षातु ध्वनिं नरसिंहोऽधिराष्ट्पातु सोमा सूर्यग्निलोचना स्मृतं मे पातु नरहरि मुनिविरागस्तुतिप्रिया नासं मे सीमास्नासस्तु मुखालक्ष्मीमुखप्रिया सर्वविद्याधिपातु नरसिंहो रसं मम रक्तं पातु इन्दवादानं सदा प्रह्लादविन्दिता नरसिंहो पातु मे कण्ठं स्कन्दम्बुभरिद् अन्तकृत् दिव्यास्त्रशोभिता भुजौ नरसिंहा पातु मे भुजौ करो मे देवी वरदो नरसिंहा पातु सर्वथा हृदयं योगी सादस्यश्च निवासं पातु मे हरि मध्यं पातु हिरण्यक्ष वक्ष कुक्षि विराधना नाभि मे पातु नरहरि स्वयनाभि ब्रह्म संसुता ब्रह्मन् कोट्यं कात्यं यशस्सु पतु मे कटिं गुह्या मे पातु गुह्यानां मन्त्राणां गुण्यरूपद्रक् उरुं मनोभाव पातु जानूनि नररूपद्रक् जङ्गे पातु धराभरा हर्ता योऽसौ न केसरी हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण सुररज्यप्रदः पतु पदौ मे नरसिंहेश्वरः सहस्रशीर्ष पुरुषः पतु मे सर्वशस्तनुं मनोग्रह पूर्वतः पतु महाविग्रजोऽग्नितः महाविष्णुर्दक्षिणे तु महाज्वालस्तु नैरतः पश्चिमे पतु सर्वेशो दिशि मे सर्वतोमुखः नरसिंह पतु वायव्यं सौम्यं भूषणविग्रहः ईशान्यं पतु भद्रो मे सर्वमङ्गलदायकः संशराभयता पतु मृत्योर्मृत्योर्नकेशरी इदं नरसिंह कवचं प्रह्लादमुखमण्डितं भक्तिमन्यः पठे नित्यं सर्वपापे प्रमुच्यते पुत्रवन्धन पुत्रवन्धनवन्लोके दीर्घायुरुपजायते यं यं गम्यते कमं तं तं प्राप्नोति अशंसयं सर्वत्र जयम् अप्नोति सर्वत्र विजयी भवेत् भूम्या अन्तरिक्ष दिव्यनं ग्रहणं विनिवारणं वृश्चिकोचरगसम्भूत विषपहरणं परं ब्रह्मरक्षसयक्षणं दुरो सारानकारणं भुजेव तलपत्रे वा कवचं लिखितं शुभं करमूले धृतं येन सिद्ध्येयुः कर्मसिद्धयः देवसुरमनुष्येषु स्वं स्वमेव जयं लभेत् एकसन्ध्यं त्रिसन्ध्यां वा यः पठे नियतो नरः सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गल्यं भुक्तिमुक्तिं च विन्दति द्वात्रिंशतिसहस्राणि पठेत् शुद्धात्मनं नरनं कवचस्य मन्त्रस्य मन्त्रसिद्धिः प्रजायते अनेन मन्त्ररजेन कृत्वा भाष्यमभिर्मन्त्रणं तिलकं बिभ्र्ययस्तु तस्य ग्रहभयं हरेत् त्रिवरं जपमनस्तु दत्तं वर्याभिमन्त्र च प्रसाद्येत् य नरो मन्त्रं नरसिंहादयनम् आचरेत् तस्य रोगा प्रणश्यन्ति ये च स्युः कुक्षिसम्भवः किमत्र बहुनोक्तेन नरसिंह सदृशो भवेत् मनसा चिन्तितं यत्तु स तच्चोप्नोत्य संशयम् गर्जन्तं गर्जयन्तं निजभुजा फलतं स्फोटयन्तं हतन्तं दीप्तयन्तं तपयन्तं दिवि भुवि धितितं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं करन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं स्वरन्तं भरन्तं वीक्षन्तं पूर्णयन्तं करनिकरशते दिव्यसिंहं नमामि हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Carry on, Mataji. Okay. Hare Krishna. So beautifully recited, Sri Lalita Susevini Mataji and Indira Mataji. Beautifully recited. Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.
Very nice. So, before we end the session, are there any final comments or reflections or realizations? Okay. Krishna Govinda Prabhuji, are you still with us?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Did
Well,
you
just-
enjoy the bhajan?
Yeah, of course, so beautiful because when we recite this particular verse, I don't know if many of you remember during the COVID lockdown, we used to recite this verse every day for protection, Lord Day for the devotees who are go through a lot of difficulties for our own protection as well. Now, 5 years on, it looks very hazy what happened then, but when you think about it, it's so important that we remember Krishna every second of our life. There was one story I was just listening to yesterday or a few days ago. Somebody had a devotee, senior devotee, had lost her memory and she completely forgot everything. And then the only thing that she could remember was a particular tune from the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the devotees were saying, well, this is brilliant. You know, there's no point thinking of anything else. Just think of this particular beautiful prayers of the Supreme Lord in the form of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is non-different from the Supreme Lord. And it's just like this name form quality, it's non-different from the Lord. And it's so important that we actually come to that point where we just think of Krishna. Even Lord Prahlad Maharaj, you know, even though he was antagonized by his demonic king, Hiranyakashipu, he was just constantly thinking of Krishna all the time. So thank you so much for the Mataji who sang so beautifully, so nice. And thank you once again, Sriji Kishore Mataji, for hosting the program today. Please forgive me for any mistakes I've made. I've just come back after a long break because I was away because my son got married recently. And then just coming back into reality again with the normal day-to-day work, and of course joining in with the beautiful chat sessions, which allows me to also learn, get inspired, and understand more about Krishna by the Devotee Association. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
And
you.
have
On
a
behalf
wonderful
of
week.
Chad, Prabhuji, may we all wish your son and your new daughter-in-law many, many
Thank you.
congratulations from all of us.
Oh, thank you
Hare
very kindly.
Krishna.
Blessings of the devotees are the most wonderful things. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vanchaka patarubhyascha kripa
Kripa
sindhubhya
sindhubhya
eva cha
Patitanam
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Hari Hari
Krishna.
Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful class.